Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Dream Homes. And today we're heading to Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to zoom in here real quick. We're not going to waste a lot of time here. And right there, we'll stop just so you can see the border. Jacksonville is almost touching the state of Georgia. It's about 20 miles south of the Georgia border. So there you see it right there. It's up in the very northeastern part of the state of Florida. And we'll zoom in here a little bit closer. So here we have the Atlantic Ocean here, and this is the St. Johns River that flows through Jacksonville. Pretty wide here, almost a lake that you would call. So there's a lot of shorefront property, which we're going to be seeing in today's Fantasy Dream Homes. Moving on to a little bit of information about Jacksonville. So we take a look at Wikipedia, and, it's about, just slightly under 1 million people. It's the largest city in Florida. So one of the things I found particularly interesting is the area of the modern city of Jacksonville has been inhabited for thousands of years. On Black Hammock Island in the National Timucuan Ecological and Historic Preserve, a University of North Florida team discovered some of the oldest remnants of pottery in the United States, dating to 2500 BC. Well, that's ancient history. Literally, it's considered ancient history. Once you start going back thousands of years, you're going back to ancient times. That is the time period of the Great Pyramid of Giza was built approximately in the year 2500. I think they said 2550, 2580, somewhere in that time period. So we're talking about, this dates back that there were inhabitants living there at the time of the pyramids, which is amazing. So it kind of begs the question, we always talk about, who discovered America, or the Americas for that matter. And if you look at a timeline, one of the things you're going to see, and we'll go back to Google Earth here, is if we move back, if we move from as far as we know in time. Okay, so here we have Alaska, and you see this lighter shade of blue up here. Well, that used to be a landmass, and it was known as the Beringia Peninsula. And it was believed that the earliest indigenous peoples, and when I say indigenous, it means the original peoples, the natives. We like to refer to them as Native Americans here in the United States. I believe in Canada they refer to them as Aboriginal people. The people that were the earliest known settlers of the Americas. So they came through during a period of what was known as the Wisconsin Glacial period. And that would have been during a period from approximately 50,000 years ago until 17,000 years ago. So they crossed from Siberia into what is now Alaska. And it was believed that they were trapped in the Alaska area. This was all ice and snow. And there were plants here for a time. And we're going to be debating this for probably the next 100 years or so. But they were trapped here, and then eventually there was melting, and so they were able to work their way down south. And when I say south, I'm talking about all the way into South America. Okay, so they were the original indigenous peoples were coming from across Europe into across Russia and Siberia into Alaska through the Wisconsin glaciation period. Then in about the period of, I want to say 990 to 1020, an explorer named Leif Erikson started out from Iceland and made his way south into the Americas. So he was the first European and the first major player, if you will, to come to the Americas, and he ended up in Newfoundland and it was believed to go into other parts of the Americas. Then after him, the next major player, of course, then was Christopher Columbus, and he came along this way. So Columbus discovered what he thought was the East Indies, and it turns out now to be called the West Indies. And the West Indies is pretty much every island that you see in the Caribbean. All of this is the West Indies. Where was the East Indies? Well, where he thought he was, the East Indies is all of this right here and parts of these countries right here. These are the East Indies. He thought he had discovered the East Indies, but nor he was just in North America, Central America, and the Caribbean islands and things like that. That was in 1492 that he made his way up here. So after the voyages of Christopher Columbus in 1492, you had the Spanish and later the Portuguese, the English, the French, and Dutch colonial expeditions. They arrived in the New World, what was referred to as the New World. And the last known European to have migrated to the Americas is believed to have been actor-comedian Ricky Gervais sometime circa 2000. So now you know who came to America first. So today's tourist site is going to be visitjacksonville.com. It's going to be a good site for if you're going to be traveling. Want to know what to see, who to see, where to stay, go to visitjacksonville.com. And today's real estate site is Berkshire Hathaway, and as you know, it's this particular one is Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Florida Network Realty. Berkshire Hathaway, I've talked about this before, so I won't go into a lot, is one of the most wildly successful investment companies based out of Omaha, Nebraska, and under the founder, Warren Buffett, depending on what year it is, the richest man in the world, or the second or third richest man in the world, but also known as the Oracle of Omaha. Berkshire Hathaway has got a great real estate site, and we're going to go right here to our first home. I just want to show you some things I really like about it. First, they use nice, big pictures, okay, and good descriptions. And then when you come down here, you're going to see they have things like the walk score. Well, what's the walk score? The walk score is based on if you have to do errands and chores and things like that, how easy is it going to be to get from a given home address to those places you need to get to? And when you see this walkscore.com website, it says the walk score is available for any address in the United States, Canada, and Australia. We've also ranked the largest 3,000 cities and 10,000 neighbors, so you can find a walkable home or apartment. We believe that walkable neighborhoods with access to public transit, better commutes, and proximity to the people and places you love are the key to happier, healthier, and more sustainable lifestyle. Okay, so, and they even rank the cities by their walkability. New York and San Francisco being the top two, and we go on down the list, and then they have bike-friendly cities and stuff like that. So Berkshire Hathaway is a good real estate site that I like to use. I'm going to start. I love their pictures. And I want you to notice something else here. This particular house is our first house. 121 pictures. There's no way we're going to have time to look at all 121 pictures. So I've kind of, when I saw that there were this many pictures, and we're going to see a lot of them, but there's just too many to show. So we're going to be editing some of these out. Okay, so we're going to be looking at 6 houses today, and our first house is going for about $5.75 million. And here's what I want to show you here. Let's just stop here. And I always I've stop doing this because it takes so much time to do this. But when you're searching for a house, you should always look at the property from above and go on Google Earth, just punch in the address, and boom, we're going to zoom right in here on the address. So we see, you know, one of the reasons it's going to be a pricey property is because it's on a waterfront, and you're going to get, you know, you typically excellent views. All right, so one of the things in the description of the property they don't give us is the lot size, which I find really annoying, but not to worry. So let's go back to our listing. We see it's, you know, 5.75 million, 6 beds, 7 full baths, 2 half baths. That's what that little 2 half baths means. And for those of you who don't know, a half bath is typically, it's not going to have a bath or shower in it, you know, bathtub or shower. It's just going to be the toilet and the sink, okay? And it's going to have an interior space of 8,300 square feet. And some of the features I'm going to mention real briefly: Vermont slate roof, mahogany windows and doors, impact glass, and that's probably the reason they want you to know is because you're in hurricane country, so it's really strong glass. Copper gutters and pressure-treated cedar shingles. And there's much more to the description, and so we do see, we look for a lot size. It was built in 2000, but we don't see a lot size. So even another reason why we should go on Google Earth. We take out a little measurement tool here, okay? Teach you how to do this. Change from line to polygon. Draw yourself a polygon. Click with the mouse. Click all the way to the street and click. Last click. Now, obviously, that's not completely straight, but it gives you a really good idea. That's 1.2 acres. Okay, we can change it to hectares. It's 0.45 hectares. Or change it to square meters if you want. It's about 4,500 square meters. If you want to change it to square feet, you can do that. It's about 48,700 square feet, you know. So not a big property, but now we know how big the property is. And oh, by the way, let's change it back to line. No, actually, we'll change it to path. We were talking about walkability. Well, let's see how far you have to go from a property like this. Now, obviously, you're going to own a car, okay? But, you know, it's nice to know, like, if you want to go biking or if you want to just walk to the nearest grocery store, how far are you going to have to go? Okay, to get out to the main street there is 0.32 miles. What is that in kilometers? That's 0.52 kilometers. And so it's not, you know, not much of a walk, but look, let's close out our measurement tool. We don't need that anymore. This is nothing but residential property. There are no stores here. You know, you're going to have to go into areas like this or like this. I'm guessing here's your nearest grocery store or whatever. Okay, so we started right here. Let's zoom in here. Is there any public transit? Okay, so here's our street. And this is, I mean, Google Earth can tell you so many things, and what you're looking for are bus stops. So is there even a bus route on the street? So let's drop our man right on the street. And here's what we're going to be looking for. Aha. Okay, that's a bike sign, sorry. But I'm guessing, let's go this way a little bit. Wait a minute. That right there, see that concrete right there? That's usually a place for buses to stop. It's for people to stand. Yeah, I can already tell already. Did you see it? Did you look at it from behind? This sign right here. Let's zoom in on that. That is your international picture for a bus. So that's a bus stop, but that's the back of the sign here. We can just look at it right here. This is the bus stop. They built this concrete here for people to stand on so they don't get muddy feet and everything. And there it is, and the sign tells us bus stop. Okay, so, and then we happen to know it's the number 25 line. So for sure, we have public transportation a third of a mile right down the street from our house. Okay, so at least we know there's close transportation. These are all things you can do while you're on Google Earth. It's a good idea to know how close you're going to be to your neighbors and what's the layout of the neighborhood. So now we know a little bit more about our property from above. Let's go back and load in our real estate description. And it's time to take a virtual tour of our first property. So let's sit back and relax and enjoy our first fantasy dream home. Our second fantasy dream home is going for approximately $6.5 million. 5 bedrooms, 6 full bathrooms, 1 half bath. Now we're jumping up to 11,700 square feet. And it was built in 1942, and it sits on 3 acres of land. Let's take a virtual tour of this next fantasy dream home. Okay, our next fantasy dream home is going for $6.5 million. 7 bedrooms, 7 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, 11,625 square feet. And unknown lot size, built in 1948. Let's take a tour of our next fantasy dream home. Our next fantasy dream home is going for $6.9 million. It is 5 bedrooms, 6 full baths, 5 half bathrooms, and it's got an interior space of a little over 10,000 square feet, unknown lot size, built in 2006. Let's check out this next fantasy dream home. Okay, I just wanted to pause here and go back. This is an absolutely amazing example of why you hire a very reputable interior decorator. We're going to go back here and just look at some of these pictures. You will notice in every single room, you will not see white walls. You will not see beige walls. You will not see white or beige carpeting. It is unique colors that are assigned to each room, and not just the colors on the walls. And they've hired an amazing painter. All the accessories that you will see blend in and match this decor very well. So let's just keep going here. Now this one right here, this is an amazing example. I mean, look at the walls, look at the fabric on the sofa. Everything is blending really well. Look at the painting, look at the accessory pieces. Everything just goes together. Look at these. Look at this sculpture right here. This is amazing. I mean, it blends in perfectly with these surroundings. Every single room. I mean, most people don't have this kind of decorator touch. And this is why you hire a professional, an absolute professional. They can take care of this for you. They can go around and they can buy the accessories for your home too. I mean, this is amazing. These rooms, the colors, they're phenomenal. I wish I had this talent. This is just amazing talent in every single room. It's the accessories, the colors, the level of professionalism for the painter that they hired. These people know what the heck they're doing. So bravo. What a wonderful, wonderful example of interior decorating. Our next fantasy dream home is almost $7 million. 5 bedrooms, 6 full bathrooms, 1 half bath, about 8,200 square feet of interior space. And it was built in 1956, unknown lot size. Let's take a tour of this next fantasy dream home. All right, and it's time for our final fantasy dream home. We saved the most expensive for last. Almost $14 million. 4 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, and 4 half bathrooms. Coming in at a colossal 20,000 plus square feet of interior space. It is sitting on a 4-acre lot. It was built in 2009. It's time for our final fantasy dream home of the day. Let's check out this mansion. Okay, just wanted to go back and let's just do a quick review here. So this is the most expensive house at $13.9 million. And it has this colossal, it's not a house, it's a mansion. It's 20,000 square feet. Okay, now here's my problem with this place right here. I'm just going to go forward here because it's going to be faster to go this way. It just seems like there's a lot of wasted space, and this is why you not only hire an interior decorator in this house, you also hire an interior designer, because this room's a classic example. Look at all the enormous space around this table, and it almost seems that this tiny little hutch and china cabinet doesn't really fit in this room, and you almost have to go with custom made furniture because it's such a tiny piece. They look like they got this at a furniture store, and this works in traditional homes. It doesn't work in a mansion. And I'd like to hear your opinion. Do you agree? I mean, this is so tiny scale wise for this huge room. And this one's considerably larger. This one fits in better. You have all this extra space. Now let's keep going here. All this space around here. Okay. I love this. This is really cool looking. Also notice how we're going to be seeing lots of white. Just what we saw. And I realize you made a fashion choice there. Okay, no problem. Okay, so we wanted to go with a white kitchen. No problem. This is cool. I like this. Huge pantry. I think if you're going to have the place this big, you should have an enormous pantry and an enormous walk-in closet in the master bedroom. Look at all this wasted space in here. I mean, I'm just thinking that is so much. Look at all that space over there. That's going to be 10 feet. And to me, that's what an interior designer would have done. They would have said, well, you got this room's way too big, so here's what we're going to do with the room. And that's what the designer would have done. It just seems like you were building a 20,000 square foot house to build a 20,000 square foot house. It's just, at some point, things can get too spacious, and it just doesn't make sense. Now, this is nice. I like this. But here's where interior decorator comes in. To me, these don't cut it. Not for this oval shaped. It almost looks like they put it in as an afterthought, like, oh, what are we going to do for that? I mean, I would have maybe put a curtain rod across the top and put curtains all the way down to the floor if you want privacy. I get that. That doesn't work. Really cool. When I saw this, I thought, wow, what is that? Real retro looking from like the 1940s. Very Art Deco. Now look, this is good use of space, in my opinion. This is very cozy, and you don't get that cozy feeling in this house, but this particular area is done very well. It's very intimate, and it's very comforting feeling. I'm just going to keep going here. I mean, I just saw lots of room when you're putting in a grand piano in a guest bedroom, to me, you're just trying to fill space, and why do you have to have 20,000 square feet? And, now this person's obviously an artist, somebody who lives here, because there's their artwork. But it just is so freaking huge. And then the chickens? Are you kidding me? Somebody likes to raise chickens. Okay, all right. This gives you the idea of the scale of this place. It is freaking enormous. And I say, if you're going to have a giant place, you better use the space. Don't just put in giant rooms and then have all kinds of empty space in the rooms. So anyway, that's what our comments are for. You leave your opinions. Let's hear what you have to say. I don't consider myself an interior designer or interior decorator. I leave that to the pros. So let me know what you think. Well, that wraps up another edition of Fantasy Dream Homes. We hope you liked it. If you do, please click the like button. That really helps. Please subscribe and become a member of our YouTube family, and check out all our social media sites and become a patron over on Patreon. We really hope you liked the video, and we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time here on Fantasy Dream Homes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.